darling Epicurean. I want to tell you about a wonderful childhood memory of mine playing at my friend Karen's house and her mother making homemade applesauce. The whole house filling with aromas of simmering apples and cinnamon was unbelievable. I can't wait to show you how to make this wonderful recipe. Come with me and I'll show you what we're going to need. So here are beautiful apples that we're going to make our homemade applesauce with today. I have about 9 apples. You usually use about 7 to 10 to get 3 to 4 pounds of apples. I like to do a variety. This way it's a well-rounded flavor that we get. When we finish simmering all the apples, I have a half a cup of sugar here. I did a 1/4 cup of brown sugar, a 1/4 cup of white sugar. We may not need it all. We're going to see how sweet it is when we start to simmer our apples. I have a half a teaspoon of cinnamon and a 1/4 teaspoon of ground nutmeg right here. So I'm going to get peeling and quartering and coring these apples. I'm going to get them on the stove with a 1.25 cups of water, and we're going to start to simmer these. Oh my goodness, they're going to smell so heavenly. So I have a 1/4 cup brown sugar and a 1/4 cup white sugar. We're not going to even add all the sugar in the beginning. We're going to simmer it, and then we're going to taste it afterwards, and then we're going to see if it needs more sugar, because sometimes it just doesn't, because the apples are sweet enough, and we have such a nice variety here, you never know. So I'm just going to sprinkle this sugar right on top, about half. Some of that cinnamon and nutmeg and a pinch of clove on there. I'm also going to sprinkle in a little bit of salt on there. Alright, so we're just going to toss this around. I'm going to add a 1.25 cups of water. And we're going to get it on a medium-high heat. And we're going to bring it to a boil, and then we're going to turn it down to medium and then just simmer it for about 20 minutes. Just until they soften and they're broken up just a little bit. Alright, so we have it all mixed here. I'm going to add in the water. Some people add in cider or apple juice. All right, so let's get these incredible aromas going and get this on the stove. Well, that's looking really beautiful. I did taste this a little bit to see how the flavors were coming from the apples. And I find that I do want it a little bit sweeter. Give it a mix. And then continue simmering for another 10 minutes. It smells so amazing in here. Oh my goodness. I love the smell of the apples and the cinnamon. And okay, there, that's better. I have to keep wiping off the lens because it's getting steamed up. What I was saying was you can add another half a teaspoon of cinnamon. And actually that's what the original recipe has, a whole teaspoon. But I like subtle flavors, so I only did a half a teaspoon. So I've let these apples cool at least 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. Really important to do that because you don't want hot apples splattering out of the food processor, and that's why we're only gonna fill it halfway. Let me tell you, applesauce freezes so incredibly well too. So you could jar it and put it in the freezer. It freezes for months. And it's really delicious. Alright, so we have that halfway full. I'm just going to pulse this till I get the desired consistency that I want. And then we're going to make our applesauce-caramel sundae. Alright, so we have our amazing applesauce that smells incredible. I'm going to pour it right in this bowl here. Look how beautiful this homemade applesauce. So one of my favorite ways to have this homemade applesauce is with a big thick pork chop that I grilled or pan-seared and finished off in the oven, some caramelized onions on top, and then some crumpled gorgonzola blue on top of that. Oh my goodness, that's to die for. And the other route to take is to have it a la mode. When I make apple crisp, I always save that crumble topping because you always seem to have a little bit extra. I put it in a Ziploc, throw it in the freezer for an occasion like this. I've put it in a pie plate, I toasted it up in the oven, and now I have this incredible, crunchy, delicious topping. So I went to our local ice cream shop, Ashley's, and I picked up their caramel sauce, which happens to be my daughter's favorite. And then I made some homemade whipped cream, which we'll take a look at and how I just made this. So we're gonna do a la mode, a scoop of the vanilla from Ashley's, then the applesauce, then the whipped cream, and a drizzle of this caramel sauce, and a sprinkle of this oat crisp topping. Oh my goodness, it's gonna be so amazing. Wait till you see. So let's take a look at how I did this whipped cream. It's so easy to make. There's no sense in buying it when you can make it like this. So this is what we're gonna need to make our homemade whipped cream. We have a cup of heavy whipping cream, a tablespoon of confectioner's sugar, a teaspoon of pure extract vanilla. You could also use bourbon or whiskey. That also gives it some nice flavor, especially if you're having pie. I have a stainless steel bowl that I've kept in the freezer for at least 10 minutes, a handheld mixer, and I've kept these in there as well for a good 10 minutes because everything you want to be chilled makes the best whipping cream. I'm going to get this heavy whipping cream in the bowl right now, and I'm going to start to whisk. Okay, so I got the cup of heavy whipping cream in here in this. See how these peaks are just starting to form? So I'm going to sprinkle in the tablespoon of confectioner's sugar and a teaspoon of the vanilla, and then I'm going to start to whisk again till they're completely full peaks. Okay, look how beautiful. See the peaks? So I'm going to get this in our little bowl here. Look how beautiful. It's so easy to make homemade whipped cream. And I'll get that into the refrigerator. So look at what we're building here. I have my beautiful glass. You could do this in a bowl too, but I was just trying to fancy it up a little bit. I'm gonna put some of this incredible Ashley's vanilla ice cream right in the center there. I'm gonna top it with this warm applesauce. And a dollop of that whipped cream that we showed you how to make. Isn't that beautiful? And then why reinvent the wheel? I have this Ashley's caramel sauce, and I'm just going to drizzle it back and forth like that. Oh my goodness, that looks incredible. And then I'm going to top it with some of that apple crisp topping. Oh wow, I cannot wait to have a bite of this. This looks amazing. All right, let's have a bite. And I got to take a picture for our thumbnail. Very pretty. Okay, so we have this amazing applesauce that we just simmered. It only took about 25 minutes. And I have this applesauce caramel sundae that I cannot wait to taste. Oh my goodness. This is absolutely incredible. This could be my new favorite dessert. The sweet and the tart from the applesauce, the crunchies from my oat crisp topping, the caramel, and then that homemade whipped cream and the vanilla ice cream from Ashley's. It all just marries together. This is amazing. Wait till you try this. I cannot wait for you to try this. Karen, thank you so much for sharing your mom's applesauce recipe. This is unbelievable. I can't wait for all of you to try this. Have a great day. You can find the recipe at thetravelingepicurean.com. Ciao.